John Lennox is a professor of mathematics at the little-known college called Oxford. Oxford. An Irishman, professor of mathematics at Oxford. And in this little video clip, and I'm just going to tell you about it, the question was put to him, what about all other religions? What about all other religions? And he started off by saying, many other religions have a morality. They do. Many other religions have a morality regarding abuses of alcohol, abuses of sexuality, the hopes and dreams of a more peaceful society. So many religions have that. So Christianity isn't unique in that sense, nor are they necessarily outgunned. You could be very moral, very ethical, and not very Christian. So if you use that as just your one test, it's not a very good test. We talk about the differences between religions, the difference as to why or why not. Really, underlying question would be why is Christianity so important? There's so many out there. You've heard this. There's so many out there, so many religions. Which one do you believe? Well, right. John Lennox goes on to talk about a very common way of understanding many religions is like, and he was at Harvard giving this speech, I believe it was. He's from Oxford. He's at Harvard, another lesser-known college, giving this speech. He said, well, it's kind of like a Harvard thing. First there's like an entry exam. You got to know something to even become part of the group. Make a pledge, do something, and then you go through your studies. And there'll be many teachers along the way. And they'll try to impart into you the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the formulas, on how to work your craft. Then there comes a final exam. But the funny thing is, what makes or break your graduation? You. How you studied, how you performed. Your outcome is based on the professors can't promise you anything. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to show you stuff and to explain things to you. That's not going to guarantee any outcome. You have to do the work. You have to struggle. You have to strive. The effort is upon you. And whether you graduate or not at the end, well, you only know should you make it to the end. That is what many religions look like. But he contrasted it. He talks about he sees a woman he fancies. He's inclined to ask her to marry him. Again, reminded me of some things. He said, you are the apple of my eye. He says, I plan to marry you, but there's some things I want you to do first. Here's a cookbook. I want you to go through this, learn these recipes, and then we're going to probably move on to some other stuff, housekeeping, or in fact, if we want to be really helpful, when I ask you for a tool, you need to learn the name so you can hand it to me. There's all sorts of things that are going to help our lives together, and you need to know these things. And if you do it well enough, long enough, I'll marry you. Does that sound just ludicrous? Why? Because I'm not talking about a class with a final exam. I'm talking about a relationship. Relationships don't work that way. Relationships work that I'm hanging out with you, you're hanging out with me. And if I have a list of things you do to be my friend, that's not the kind of friend you need. The best kind of friend is the one who puts up with you in spite of the things you ain't doing right. That's when you know you got a best friend, right? That's what, and it's funny that most people, John Lennox would say, that's their view of God, the final exam. He even says many Christians fall into this category of this final exam and doing it right enough. But what he sees in the Bible is a relationship. God invites you in, and you're going to work life together.